So, perfect. Welcome, everyone. So this is a webinar on call module 8 for the Clean Energy Transition Partnership. We have a focus of integrated regional energy systems. And I'd like to take you first through the agenda for this webinar. We're going to start with a general presentation about the Clean Energy Transition Partnership. And then we will start talking about specifically about call module 8 to give you more detailed background on that call. Afterwards, we're going to talk about partners that you might want to look into working with when you're trying to do regional energy system development, as well as giving you some more detailed information about our matchmaking platform, where you can find other potential partners for your projects. We'll also shortly talk about the knowledge community before we talk a little bit about the joint call for 2023. At the end of the webinar, like I said earlier, we will be having a question and answer session. So any kind of questions you may have, please just write them in the little icon at the bottom of your Zoom where it says question and answers. So with that being said, we can go to a short video about our call module, which should be here shortly.
You cannot miss this event. If you want to successfully realize your project with funding from the Clean Energy Transition Partnership in 2023. You will not only get important information, but also get the opportunity to start the matchmaking with potential partners and public funders. Now is the time. You are an industry, company or research organization. You are ideator, developer or yourself in need of a clean energy solution. All co-creators are invited. Together we can provide innovation to make the clean energy transition happen. With a broad variety of topics from clean energy technologies to integrated system solutions, as well as with participants from all over Europe and beyond, this is one of the largest public RTDI funding networks to realize your ideas and concepts. However, the Clean Energy Transition Partnership is not only providing funding, it also provides a platform to accelerate the learning from local and regional to European and global level. It provides a framework to get your solution recognized and to jointly contribute to speeding up the transition. Join the event and the community.
Thank you, Angela. Will you please, yeah, I was able to share my screen as well. Yes, so just to more maybe clearly explain what the Clean Energy Transition Partnership is. It is an EU initiative that includes more than 30 countries, not only EU member states, but also associated countries and international partners. How we are going to explain more clearly how it works, but this might be an interesting opportunity, not only if you are from a country that is part of the CETP, but you can also collaborate with CETP countries. We have, yes, as I said, over 30 countries, but we have more than 50 funding partners spread out in these different countries that essentially fund the projects that get money through this partnership. Of course, such a large project or a large initiative means that there is a lot of coordination happening So we have the Austrian Ministry of Climate Action and the Swedish Energy Agency as two coordinators. And the annual joint calls for projects within this initiative are like throughout the whole period. We are going to have, this is the second time that we are opening a call. It's 100 to 130 million euro per year for like everything. And there is not a set amount of money in each call, but rather a more or less set amount of money for the whole partnership. And then it gets divided throughout the calls, depending on what gets approved, basically. We will explain the timeline and the practicalities of the joint call later, but I thought it would be good to just briefly show a timeline at the start of this, because I know it's interesting for many of us. You can find more detailed information on the CET partnership webpage. But yeah, we have an info day. The main info day yesterday. Today is for this specific call module. Applications are divided into 2 stages, which will be more clearly explained later. And the first stage opens at September 20th and closes on November 22nd. Okay, but to go a little bit more into this specific challenge and this specific call module about integrated regional energy systems, we will start out with a little video and then explain it more clearly in detail. So Angela, please show the video.
Integration is the key.
The mission of integrated regional energy systems is to bring together ecosystems for energy transition on a European level.
More and more private and municipal companies, but also communities and citizens, get interested in exchanging excess heat or self-produced solar power.
They need support to develop their own, tailor-made integrated solutions. Solutions that meet the individual regional and local requirements and demand.
Regional and local energy systems are not only infrastructure, but they also have social, political, economical, and environmental dimensions.
Leveraging synergies and flexibility potentials can make it possible to efficiently provide, host, and utilize up to 100% renewable energy in the regional supply.
The Transition Initiative 5 is focusing on developing and validating integrated regional energy systems. It develops corresponding call topics and accompanying measures.
Need owners with a challenge-driven approach is the focus of this call, where specific solutions for a regional context are brought together on a European level.
You and me together, we could be anything, anything.
Thank you, Angela. Then I will keep showing this presentation. So we got a question yesterday on the general info day about how technical, there will be text here quite soon, about how technical the projects need to be, because CET as a whole can seem very technology focused because it talks a little about like innovation, etc. However, in this specific call module, integrated regional energy systems, technology is just one part of what projects are about, but they have a lot of more dimensions. So I'm going to go through that a little bit. So when it comes to what type of projects we are looking for, we are looking at for projects that focus on regionally anchored ecosystems with so-called need owners of this region. With region, I will explain that a little bit more quite soon. And we want projects that coordinate and link research and innovation activities with some kind of test beds, which can be living labs, it can be demonstration projects, but something where you can really kind of try out whatever it is that you are working with. And we are looking for projects where the transnational cooperation of these different ecosystems in this project can help foster a deeper understanding of the infrastructural and socioeconomic contexts that make up prerequisites for the transition and these technologies or systems. So it's quite kind of interdisciplinary. So we are looking for projects that are regional rather than local. And a region here we see as bigger than a local. It's not just a city or a part of the city, but rather a geographical context. Typically within a nation, it can be a little bit between different nations, but we're not talking about like the Baltic Sea region, but rather a region within a nation or like on the border of different nations, for example. But it does not have to be an administrative unit of a region, which we have in some countries. We want participation of the regional need-owning entities, so those that are already involved in or want to be involved in energy transition. We see it as very positive if there is a connection to already existing climate or energy plans or roadmaps or implementation plans that can already exist in this region or in this part of the world. And of course, although these solutions need to work in that specific region, like one of the reasons that we want transnational cooperation is to see if whatever you are trying to develop and create is scalable and can be used in different places around the world, and what is needed for that. The impact that we are hoping for is to, of course, get more knowledge, but also to be able to transfer a solution to different regions with perhaps similar conditions, for example, rural regions or urban regions, whatever it may be. We want a more efficient use of the local or regional resources and infrastructure, and a high potential for replicability of the solution. So for these projects, they should be led by a consortium of between different countries, and we encourage these consortia to further develop existing regional initiatives and to connect to ongoing projects or recently finished, and to cooperate with each other on existing test infrastructure and knowledge. In EU initiatives in general, we talk about technological readiness level. However, since the main focus of this particular call module is not technology development in itself, we try not to focus too much about it on this, but the main focus is kind of more developed technologies, but they can also include less developed technologies. Yeah, so here is really just to get a more of an overview, to think about the regional aspects in your project, the European aspects, the policy aspects, and the partnership aspects. So how can you create something that is relevant for the geographical region in which it is situated? How can it contribute on a European level or international level? How does it refer to existing roadmaps and policy? And how can this be a forum for cooperation between different stakeholders, different need owners? So we talk about a lot here about ecosystems, which means that we need to explain them a little bit more clearly, because if you look at the CET partnership webpage, you can see this quote, that the objective of this transition initiative is to build energy transition ecosystems all over Europe, with focus on local and regional energy systems, with the need owners of specific regions in the center, and to bring them together on a European level. So the reason that we talk about ecosystems is we want to take, we are not literally talking about biological ecosystems, but rather use this word to understand the network of different actors that interplay and interact with each other in a transition, with this kind of inspiration from natural ecosystems where different entities kind of work together, and sometimes in tension with one another, but together they make things happen, really. We believe that innovation rarely happens in isolation, and that different actors need to come together to create change, especially for energy transition, and maybe even more so in regions where there is so much possibility for exchange between different stakeholders when it comes to heating, for example, and electricity. So you should really think about this as a constellation of actors working together towards shared goals. So in order to be funded through this partnership, you kind of need funding through the funding agencies. So in the CETP Clean Energy Transition Partnerships, we don't have all funding agencies included in the whole partnership involved in all call modules. And you can find a lot more details about this on the webpage, but I will also explain it a little bit more in the next picture. There need to be 3 or more participants per application in this consortium, as we talked about. And at least 2 of these participants need to be based in a country that has a funding agency that participates in this call module. And those participants need to make sure of the rules for their specific funding agencies. So we both have the kind of umbrella rules for the set partnerships and the separate rules for the different funding agencies. So for example, if you are located in Sweden or want to do it in a Swedish context, you have to look at the Swedish Energy Agency's rules to make sure that what you're trying to do is in line with those rules. In this call module, we have a number of funding agencies in different countries involved. You can see them here. It's Austria, Belgium, Cyprus, Czech Republic, Denmark, Estonia, and Finland, Germany, Hungary, Ireland, Israel, Malta, the Netherlands, Poland, Portugal, Spain, Sweden, Switzerland, Tunisia, Turkey, and the United Kingdom. So as you can see, these are not all EU countries. And if you are from a country that is not included in this list, you need to cooperate with at least 2 participants in 2 of these countries. May they be like Turkey and Malta, or Ireland and Cyprus, or whatever. Okay, I will now leave the word to Kristina, who will talk about how to find these partners and work together with them.
Yeah. Thank you, Tina. That was very good. We'll take the next slide here. So like Tina said before, it's we really encourage you to try to find partners that are to build on existing projects if you have them, or oh dear, I don't know if let's see if I get the next picture here. Oh, thank you. We really encourage you to build on existing regional initiatives, essentially, and to try to build on them, or to develop and to further detail these projects. Or if you have, large-scale demonstrations, that's also very interesting for this specific call. So, I mean, what we're really after is that you have something that is very relevant to the region and where you are working. When doing this, it's also very interesting for us if you work with local living labs or test beds, or have them involved in your projects, so that we are really interested in seeing how can we get these really good ideas, these regional local ideas, how can we spread them and validate them so that more regions can use these ideas. And so if you are working these, we really warmly recommend that you reach out to the validation network with living labs and test beds, or ENNLS, the European Network of Living Labs. If you are interested in this, we want to highlight that on the 4th of October, there will be a matchmaking event where you'll get to meet some of these living labs and some of the actors that work in these different networks. And that's from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. Central European time. So we warmly recommend that if you're interested in this kind of partner, that you come to this event. I think we can go to the next slide. When it comes to matchmaking and finding partners, like we've said, we have a big focus on need owners and local stakeholders, but you need to be able to have it in 3 different countries. We have CETP has a matchmaking forum, and it's quite easy to find it. So essentially, you go into the Clean Energy Transition Partnerships website, and there's a little link called Join Our Community. If you click on that, you'll be able to register yourself on something that we call B2Match for the Clean Energy Transition Partnership. And at this this part of our website, essentially, you'll be able to register for events. For example, the events that many of you, I'm sure, have already done this because you are at this event. But it's also our platform where we also enable matchmaking. So I'm just going to take you through a couple of pictures of how you can do that on this slide. So essentially, first thing you need to do is to make yourself available for matchmaking on your profile. And if we take the next slide, then it's very simple that if you're interested in creating a meeting, you're going to look at the B2Match website, and you're going to go to, as you see up there, there's a little circle that says meetings, and you're going to request a meeting. When you request a meeting, you will be able to see the participants list. So you can look for, you can sort the list by organization type or countries to see what kind of participants might be interesting for what you're interested in doing. And then, of course, when you find that participant, you just click on Request Meeting to try to get things started. Also, there's You can arrange meetings. Let's see, this is just a little bit more of the details on how you specifically arrange the meeting with, the date and the time available for the meeting. And people will be informed via their email, essentially, and can accept your meeting request. Take the next picture. You will also in this website have an overview of all of your meetings. So once you've registered one, it'll pop up here. So you can see exactly which meetings you have and how you can start and access these meetings. Another thing that can be very interesting for you, if you haven't seen it already, if you look up at the top of the B2 Match part of our website, there'll be also a category that says opportunities. And then when you go to that, you'll have a list of all sorts of opportunities that people are posting. So if there is something that catches your interest, then you should definitely click on the green button associated to that project cooperation and request a meeting. Otherwise, of course, you can add your own opportunity. As you see there at the top, add an opportunity where you describe the project that you're interested in and see if you get other people that will contact you. So that's basically a quick overview of how we facilitate matchmaking for the partnership. And I just wanted to lift also, there are some good contacts that you might be interested in here. Angela, is one of our contacts, but I think Tina and I are also on there in the B2 Match if you have questions and want to get in touch with us. Otherwise, you'll find we have a joint email at the end of this presentation. So if you have questions specifically about the forum, how like the technical IT questions, please don't hesitate to contact the matchmaking at CETP Partnership. So they'll be able to help you if you get stuck somewhere. So that's an overview essentially on how you can join the community. And I think that we're going to go on to looking at the next section now.
Yes, and just to explain what this slide does is that you can use the little QR code to get directly to the platform.
Yes.
Okay, so I will tell you briefly about the knowledge community, which is an important part of the CETP partnership. So, of course, when we make these types of projects, we learn a lot and we gain a lot of knowledge, and we are trying to facilitate the clean energy transition, right? And we want that to happen all over the world, preferably. So, of course, we want to share the knowledge and share the main points of the solutions that we create and learn more about. So for this purpose, we have created the knowledge community, where we can leverage the knowledge that is produced within the framework of the funded project and put it together and learn from each other. And we can also create a community of change makers that feel part of the CETP partnership and that contribute to this jointly generated knowledge. So the knowledge community that we have within the CETP partnership consists of project representatives. It consists of need owners, intermediates, and representatives of funding agencies. We share this knowledge and make use of the community through different formats, through working groups and task forces that tackle particular challenges. We hold thematic workshops and webinars to create new knowledge and learn from each other. We make joint publications such as policy briefs, and we also have peer-to-peer feedback sessions. within this knowledge community. So there's not only carrot, but also a little bit of a stick, which is that the proposals must include a work package called reporting and knowledge community in their work plan. It shouldn't take more than 15 to 25 days per year per project, but it needs to be done. We want reporting to the SET partnership so that we learn what you are doing, and we want you to contribute to the formative evaluation. So we want you to give feedback to other projects. You will, of course, also get feedback from other projects. That you will implement feedback that you get from the SET partnership monitoring team and from other projects. And there are also some other ways you can contribute, for example, through the living documents where you share knowledge, through working group meetings, and through different ways of communicating and disseminating your what you learn and what you come up with. Okay, now we will get to the hard facts, what you need before you can get started. As I mentioned previously, you apply for money through the SET partnership in 2 stages. So it does take some time, as you will see in the timeline. There is first of all a pre-proposal stage that you can call stage 1. Here you submit an idea for a project and what you want to do in your consortium, in your group of agents that want to do something together. And you submit it through one call module together. And when that is accepted after being reviewed by experts, you later on need to do a full proposal. And that is like when you have been invited. Technically, you should not have to worry too much about like passing the second stage, because the main sorting has already happened in the first stage. Who is eligible for funding through the SET partnerships then? Well, there is the transnational eligibility criteria for the SET partnership itself that you should be able to find on the website about like who can get funding, what type of projects can we fund. There are call module requirements, and sometimes you might be wondering, does my project idea fit into this call module? You will need to check the requirements, and you can also contact us if needed. And then there are the national or regional requirements for the funding agencies themselves. We have 3 different evaluation criteria: the excellence of the project itself, what we expect it to, like how well it is formed, what is it going to do essentially, the expected impact, and the quality and efficiency of the implementation. But you can read more about this on the SET partnership webpage. There are templates for these applications that you need to submit. There should be at least 3 independent entities applying from at least 3 countries, whereof at least 2 should be EU member states or associated countries. You can get a maximum, like one single partner can have the maximum of 60% of the consortium effort. So you cannot have like one partner that gets 80% and then the other have to split 20% between themselves. So it should be relatively even. and there should be a maximum 75 of total project effort in one country or region. So as you can understand, there may be, for example, 2 entities applying from the same country. Organizations involved in this set partnership are ineligible for proposal submission. So, for example, the Swedish Energy Agency is not eligible to submit proposals. The project should start before December 15th in 2024. It shouldn't go on for longer than 3 years, although we see it positive if you can create a change that lasts longer than that. And the proposal work plan must include the reporting and knowledge community work package. We open for pre-proposal submissions already next week, and it's open for a little more than 2 months, and then you will learn more, and then it will be open for full proposal submission again in January next year, and close in March. And the kind of application to the national funding agencies are a little different depending on the agencies. And you will get your final decision on funding in June next year, and the project should start around September next year. And I should mention also that we will have an info day and a conference in October, October 24th to 25th. You can check it out on the webpage and see if you want to learn more. So I see that there are some questions in the Q&A, and we will go through the questions unless they have already been answered with text. If you have additional questions, there are several different ways to contact us. Yeah, so let's start with the Q&A part of the session.
That sounds good. Thank you, Tina. So I thought I would just go down the list, and I tried to answer as many questions as I could now as we've been having the presentations. But I think I'll just read the ones because we have a few. Please continue to ask questions if you'd like. So the first question is about need owners. And for example, is it councils and that would be considered a need owner? And absolutely is the answer, that there can be all sorts of different need owners in a local regional context. So like you said, councils, municipalities, regions, they can be one type of need owner, but it could also be, local industry or grid owners or local, environmental groups or other NGOs, energy communities. There are all sorts of local need owners, essentially. So there are just a couple of examples. The second question is about addressing the TRL level. Is it possible to have industrial research or basic research in these projects if you have this higher TRL level? And there, the answer I put was essentially it's okay to have some activities in your project. From our perspective, from our perspective, from the CALM module perspective, it's completely fine to have some elements that are basic or industrial research, but the overall projects should probably be more in line with a higher TRL level. And the thing that you really need to consider when it comes to TRL levels, and the application is the national funding agencies. There are certain funding agencies that just can't finance basic research, for example. So that you need to take into consideration. Oh, here, I think Angela, did you push on a button? Would you like to say something?
Okay, no, I just tried to make it ready for the next.
Oh, okay. So, sorry. It just said
Yeah,
it would
no
like, it
problem.
said you wanted to answer the question live. Sorry. Okay. So let's go on to the next question. So here we had, now this question, I had a little bit of a hard time knowing if I understood it correctly. But what I thought maybe the question was, is that if you have a demonstration and you have multiple actors in other countries that don't have that demonstration but are involved in the project, how easy will it be to find funding partners that are interested in these kind of projects? And my answer was, well, the funding agencies are interested in, innovative projects that are, with this kind of integrated regional system focus. And they just, the funding agencies only finance their actors from their specific country. So I gave an example here that in many projects we've seen that you have multiple regions. Essentially, it's not just one region you're looking at. You have a couple of regions that are looking at their maybe they have similar challenges and are put together a project to try to solve some of those challenges locally. So if this isn't if that isn't really completely what the answer you're looking for, please don't hesitate to have another question, and I'll see if I can pick it up later. Let's see. Oh, here we have, next question is about living labs in Scotland. So it's not compulsory to have living labs locally. We just encourage you. We're looking. We think it's very interesting with interpretability and being able to scale, like that. We have these projects are able to, the good ideas that you have in these projects are spread to as many people as possible. So, and we think that working with living labs and test beds is a way to take the results even further. So they are not, it's not a requirement, but I think that even if the living lab is not there locally, it still would be certainly very interesting to test results in another context. So let's go on to the next question. How important is it to design a proposal in line with a 3-layer research model? That's a good question. It's very important. We highly recommend. That's one of the things we write in the call module text, that you need to take into consideration the 3 different layers of this model, because that is sort of at the essence of the call, that it is not just the technical challenges that are important. It's also the economical and transition challenges that we believe you have to address in order to make in order to make the energy transition possible. So if you can just think about the 3-layer research model and refer to how you've actually thought about the transition level or the market level, that would be that will be important in your application. So many renewable energy infrastructure in the UK is national. Would the focus on developing applications for the energy for this energy more regionally be eligible? Okay, let me just see if I understand. Oh, okay, so Yeah.
So
Oh,
we,
yes,
we
please,
don't-
Ellen.
yeah.
Thank you.
So we
Please.
don't. It goes from sort of being like in Scotland, we've got lots of islands, so it might be
Mhm.
say like a community energy system on an island,
Yeah.
a national system for the whole of the UK. So
Yeah.
in that example, a lot of the offshore wind potential is in the Highlands of Scotland, but it
Mhm.
really gets fed into a grid interconnector, just to get taken back in essence for England. So
Yeah.
the people on the islands don't necessarily get the benefit. It goes back into the system and then comes back to the island to be sold to them. So
Yeah.
maybe
Yeah.
other countries have it that it's locally produced energy for locally produced power, heat, and transport. We
Yeah.
don't
Yeah.
tend to have that in Scotland, unless, as I said earlier, that it's purely like a community energy system on a remote community.
I got you. I thank you for the clarification. So we're definitely with this call, we like the idea of. I think that you could definitely still find very interesting projects in that context. We haven't sort of limited this call to just like energy islands. This is not just energy islands. We see that these regional energy systems are critical for the national energy system. So that I think, I don't know if that answers your question, but that, you could have an actor from the national level as a reference to this regional local development that you want to work with, or if you want to. I know I don't know exactly what your project idea is, but does it make sense that we're not only looking for energy islands? Energy islands could possibly be a proposal, but it's certainly we see it as the transition that you need to, that it's most common that regional energy is connected to the national energy system.
Yeah, it's not really depending on what your model is within your own country. It's just how you kind of relate them together and are able to exchange kind of ideas and knowledge around how you support regional energy and its applications.
Yeah, definitely. And how you get like more development happening regionally and locally, frankly, like if you can do it more efficiently some way, if it can be all from, we're thinking, have the electrical grid, heating system, heating and cooling, but, even, I mean, we don't limit you to any specific part of the energy system, that it just should be something that contributes to local and regional goals when it comes to the energy and climate. So I hope that was helpful.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Yep. So, okay. And then, Ellen, your next one here too. Okay, if the technology providers, do we need to have living labs in our own country? I think I already answered that question, that you don't necessarily have to have it in your country. Let's see, Scotland only Finn business and academics do. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's not a requirement necessarily to have a municipality with, but if you could have them as a reference, or if you could, we want to hear that it does definitely strengthen, even if you don't have them with you actively, that you know about the local climate plan, and you refer to it, the goals in it, that certainly strengthens your application. Oh, here, Ellen, you have a question.
Yeah, so we're working with Scottish Government on the project. I'll speak to you and Tina about, but it was more in other countries to kind of see, because as you're saying, that these would benefit most from having similar stakeholders in other regions or countries, so you can compare and contrast. So I was really seeing that. I went to the event yesterday to find out the funding situation from Scotland, which I mentioned in the messages. We fund academics, we fund business, but as we're saying, obviously the consortium would work better if they had a public sector or NGO involved. And I was just wondering how I found out if there was other funders that funded them, because obviously it'd be more of an incentive for them to join a partnership if they're funded for their time.
Yeah, sure. I don't have a quick, it depends. Like I know in Sweden, because we work at the Swedish Energy Agency, that we do fund those kind of actors. So I know I'm certainly some funding agencies do. But again, I've listed those new data as very positive, but they're not a requirement necessarily. So it would be great, but I think you just have to basically, if you find someone who seems interesting, you can ask them, because they'll probably know their local funding agencies better, whether or not they can fund for the public sector.
Can I
Yes.
add something to this?
Yeah, of course.
So if I understand it correctly, you can also, like, within the consortium, you can have entities that get funding from different places, right? So for the UK, we have connected the Scottish Enterprise, which I understand is only funding business and academics, if I understood you correctly. But of course, like, you can also get, if you find other places in the UK that can fund the public sector or third sector, you can include them also in the call. But maybe that is what the whole question was about.
Yeah, that's it. I think sometimes it'll be part, as you know, be funded through the Clean Energy Technology Partnership, as Christina was saying about Sweden. But is there an easy way to find out who is like Sweden and funds their public sector partners? Or is it a case of, as you point in each of the different funding, or when I speak to people on the partnering site, ask them how many of the different stakeholders can be involved from their project and be funded?
Yeah, I mean, so we cannot, like, unfortunately, we have no way of, or how should I put it? We have no lists or collection of other kind of funders that are not connected to the Clean Energy Transition Partnership.
Not connected, but sorry, and Alan, you wanted, but these were funders that were connected, or sorry,
Yeah,
maybe.
absolutely. So as you're saying, you've told me that Sweden is now eligible to
Yeah.
kind of have a triple helix.
Are
I've seen
you?
other calls that
Yeah.
those things have been put in terms of like information for applicants in terms of the eligibility. Is there an easy way to find out, for example, just use another country, Spain, for example, if Spain would fund their local authorities to participate? Is there like a call document that tells me that?
Yeah, we have a call document called National Requirements, Alan. I'm sorry, it's not necessarily easy, but it tells you everything. It's a very long document with every single funding partner that tells you, what they fund, essentially. So maybe if you just do the search on the, Adobe, maybe it'll go relatively quickly, hopefully, for you to look and see what they fund and don't fund. But it's just under, if you go to the CTP website and you go to the call 2024, or no, 2023, sorry. It'll be underneath call documents, national requirements.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Okay, let's see, next question. It says, any details draft templates available for the pre-proposal? Yes, length of detail. Do we need to have all the partners already on board? Yes. Okay. Do we need a detailed budget? So yeah, very good questions. Okay. I think that, is there a template? Let me ask my colleagues here. I believe there may be a template. Otherwise, we have something called call management, where we can give you an email that probably can give you the template. I think that shouldn't be a problem, or at least the topics, so you'll see. And the length of it is a maximum of 10 pages. That's the maximum length. And it has to be level of detail. You just have to get your ideas across in sort of a sharp way. So you don't have to write the whole 10 pages. If you can get it across in less than 10 pages, that's great. But you do need to, we prefer it if you, well, not prefer it, essentially you need to know what your consortium is in the pre-proposal stage. There may be some flexibility for an adjustment, like if if someone drops out, you have to replace it. There might be some flexibility between the two stages, but preferably don't assume that. It's better to have a consortium of actors that you want to work with already in the pre-proposal stage.
Can I say
yes.
something about the templates?
Yes, please.
Because Fredrik said yesterday that there is a template or should be a template. However, when I look at the joint call 2023 web page at the submit your proposal page, it just says like coming soon. So maybe we should also press the relevant team a little bit on the template and make sure that it's out so you can kind of start having a look at it.
And look at it, definitely. We will take that feedback.
But the call, but the call will open officially next week, and I think then the link will be provided, and there you will find the templates and the handbook for the proposal.
Perfect. Thank you, Angela. Thank you, Tina. And detailed budget.
Oh, sorry, did I?
Oh no, you're good. I'm almost done with it anyway. But there's a detailed. Yes, you need to have your budget more or less set, and investment cost fundable in general. Yes. The answer is exactly like you say, talk to your national funding agency, because there are different rules on what exactly is fundable. So perfect. Let's go to the next one. Would innovation readiness level be an evaluation criteria? Oh, very good, Ellen. We've had this before. Yes. Because the TRL level can be difficult. It can be a little, strict when it comes to this kind of a project, frankly. But if you would like to refer to that, that definitely would be interesting to see. But we haven't, I don't believe it's in, we took it out of the call text, I think, for this year.
Yes, we took it out of the text because there's no overall definition of the level. So like the TRL level, they are internationally defined, and because the readiness level is as well as the social readiness level, I think this is another topic, but they are not clear in every year in every country, so we took it out.
Yeah. So there we go. And the next one, we are working on a case which energy tech solutions are already implemented, and our project is about governance models and democratic energy communities. Ah, okay. Does this project fit in call 8 in if the tech providers are not involved? Yes, I would say that if it's a focus on like maybe business models and like ownership of the infrastructure and energy communities, I think that definitely fits in our call module. Is any, or would it, Angela and Tina, if you, I think that's pretty clear.
Yeah.
Yes, but the last word the evaluators have. So
yeah. Exactly. We can't say if anything, just because it is in the right topic. It's of course that the evaluators decide which projects are chosen. So, could you specify more the focus of the call? Now it is very open. It is related to the development of technologies and text in living labs, or is it stakeholder engagement? We've left it open on purpose because we're interested in seeing projects that help with the energy transition, and that can happen on all sorts of levels. It has to, like we've been talking about with the 3-layer research model. So it could be specific, like that you have different stakeholders that are trying to get a specific technical solution together on a regional level, or it could be, business models, that make it possible to share energy in a more efficient way. It could be, there are so many different things that can help in the transition. So we haven't tried to limit limit what you can do in this call to, specifically technology or specifically, any specific sector really. So we want to hear more from what these local and regional need owners, what's necessary on the regional and local level to be able to transition. That's what should be in focus, if that makes any sense. So I think as I can see, it seems like those were the questions. If anyone has any more questions in their head right now, feel free to enter it now. But I'll give you a minute here to see if anything pops up. I think I haven't been checking the chat. Did anything happen I've just been looking in the Q&A. No, I think it looks good.
No, Marie-Catherine just provided information in the chat. So.
Oh, fantastic. So, well, great. We're kind of way ahead of schedule, but this is maybe good. I think that hopefully you've gotten some answers to some of your questions in the background and know more about this.
There is an additional question now in the.
Oh, there is. Perfect. Oh, Alan, here we have it. One more. Oh, two more. Wait a second. No, just one more. What TRL level do we put if we can develop the product over the next year before? Alan, would you mind explaining a little bit?
So we've applied in Scotland to develop a blockchain platform that basically is based around well-being economy. So instead of basing decisions around innovation off GDP and profit, you also look at societal impact and environmental impact. And we're taking it back to TRL 4 in order to develop up, because we have a proprietary blockchain platform. But I was just wondering, as we'll have completed that project before the regional energy systems project starts, what do we do? Do we kind of put what we're at now, or do we anticipate what we will be at in a year's time when clean energy projects will start?
I would imagine that you do it based on what you should. Maybe when the project starts itself. It's just the work that you do in the project itself, not the project, not that what's already been accomplished. But I can see the dilemma, because it's hard to know exactly. I mean, you have a plan, of course, but I mean, we want to fund the new research, of course.
Yes.
The next steps.
And the platform would be generic when we develop it in Scotland, and then we'd apply it to look at applications for local energy systems. So it's how we kind of go about from having it, as I said, as a generic platform, to being able to work and co-design it with stakeholders through this call to be specific around developing local applications around local energy systems. But as you're saying in this session, make those scalable so others can see what applications are happening in other countries and other regions, to be able to say, yeah, we'll adapt that for our country, or that's interesting, we'll kind of test that out here.
Maybe Angela, do you have any comments? Because that sounds like something.
Yes, I think you can't fund a ready project, so a TRL 9 or something like this. So if you have something like a platform, and you want to make further development with this platform, for the further development, there should be possible to get funding. But you have to ask your the corresponding funding agency, because every agency has another rules. So for the basic product development, if it's ready already at the start of the project, then you won't get funding for this. But for further developments, it should be possible if your funding agency is able to fund these works. And you have to talk to them. This can't be answered in general.
Perfect.
Thank you.
Okay, there's a new question.
Oh, yes, good. So let's read this one. It says the need owners need to be in the driving seat. Yes. But would it also be possible that the project starts with a survey on the need owners and the kind of co-creating solutions? Yes, I think that having their involvement in the, so do you mean, let me ask you, is it a very, are you thinking, and would you mind if you turn on your mic? Are you talking about a very
course.
small project or?
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, perfect. Talking about small project, I thought that the need owners are normally need to be as a partner within the project. But in that the project first starts finding these need owners and then kind of co-create together with them the solutions within the project, so that they are not defined from the starting of the project.
So you're creating basically a local, regional kind of well, not consortia, but a group of a network of some sort, or a group that
kind of a hub, or
these now Tina and Angela will have to correct me, but I think these kind of things are interesting. But the thing is that it would be it's going to be challenging for you. You may need to, even if you have, I think it's very good that they are in the creation, but there should be maybe an obvious like challenge, and then that you tailor made that because for somehow you need to. I think it is very interesting to have this kind of a hub, but it also, I think, needs to be clear like what kind of projects or what kind of works the hub will be working on. Does that make sense?
Yes, but in your project proposal, you have to make clear what your solution should be, and you know the evaluators have to understand what you want to do and what you want to reach with your solution. So if you say, okay, we have a good solution, but it's not good to say, but we don't know who needs this, and we will find out, then perhaps the evaluators will be a little bit curious.
Absolutely. I'm thinking much more on adopting it specifically to the need owners than. And
okay, this
so
I think this is
the
a good
solution
idea.
might be there, but it will be individualized and things like that in the project. And this with co-creation, so that there is a high appraisal also of the solution.
But even then, I would prefer that you at least name one or two possible need owners, groups, or some like this.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you very much.
That you make an outlook, what one you want to do with it, or who should benefit from it.
Thank you.
Great. Let's see, do we have anything else here? No, it looks like, unless anyone has another question, I think.
Okay. If any additional questions should arise, please don't hesitate to contact us, I guess.
Yes, exactly. And we just like to, I guess, wrap up now and thank everyone for their attention and for coming to this event. I guess we'd like to wrap everything up. We have a little video that summarizes.
Yes.
Summarizes the CP. Oh, unless
And
Angela has something.
no, just how to reach us. So in the P2Match platform, we are all members of the platform, and at least at TRI 5 at setpartnership.eu, you can reach us too. So if you don't remember our names or our faces, then you will find us with this over the webpage also. Okay.
Oh, perfect. Thank you, everyone.
And we have our last video.
The question is, why should you apply to this call and not other calls, maybe on national level, on your national funding program? Anyone who applies for a project in a research and innovation call, they are of course looking for funding, and we are offering funding. But what more we offer is actually the network, and this is really important for you. In this call, you can join forces with partners from other countries. It can be a research organization that have the knowledge or the innovation that you are in need of. Or they can have a marketplace. It can be a company or a utility that have a marketplace for your ideas. In this call, you can collaborate together. This is why we in this partnership have connected more than 30 funding programs in Europe. And we're also reaching out to partners beyond Europe, because the energy transition, of course, is not only happening in Europe, it's happening all over the world. We are connecting to funders overseas in the US, in Canada, and we're also discussing collaboration with partners from Asia.
Okay, thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Goodbye.
Bye.